You want to support Roland Martin Unfiltered? Be sure to join our Bring the Funk fan club. Every dollar that you give to us supports our daily digital show. There's only one daily digital show out here that keeps it black and keep it real. As Roland Martin Unfiltered. Support the Roland Martin Unfiltered daily digital show by going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. You can make this possible. Y'all, we were talking about voting rights at the top of the show, and the fight continues not just in Georgia, but in Texas and other places as well. Joining me now is Helen Butler, Executive Director of the Coalition for the People's Agenda, and Damon Hewitt, Acting President and Executive Director of the Lawyers Committee for Civil Rights Under Law. Damon, I want to start with you. Y'all have been, the Lawyers Committee, y'all filed the first race lawsuit dealing with voter suppression there in Georgia. Talk about the legal battle. For folks who don't understand, look, we're talking about corporations, but this legal battle that's going on right now in the court system. Mark Elias, ACLU, Lawyers Committee, all of y'all are filing these lawsuits.
Sure, Roland. Thanks for having me. And, we're representing Helen's organization and other great organizations in Georgia, a coalition of color representing communities that are directly impacted. In our lawsuit, we have alleged exactly what this is: intentional racial discrimination. We know that this whole bill in Georgia is straight out of the Jim Crow playbook. First thing they do is make it as difficult as possible for Black people and other people of color to vote. The second thing is they criminalize ordinary behavior where communities help each other when they're standing along lines. And the third thing is they tell you, oh, this is for your own good because we have to preserve the so-called sanctity of the elections process. This is completely backwards. And look, make no mistake, this is going to be a long fight, not just in courts, but also in legislature. We need to go to Congress and get relief there as well. But it's a fight worth fighting because we cannot just lay down and allow this to happen.
Helen?
Yeah. Well, I tell you, Roland, thank you again for having me here. And truly, we are here fighting voter suppression in Georgia. It's trying to take complete control of the election process, stopping people from voting, and it has no bearings other than to prevent voters from voting and exercising their right to choose whom they want to represent them. It's just atrocious. And they're doing it they did it in the cloak of darkness. We never had the information. It was not transparent. We were steadily trying to get the right information to know how to fight back. But guess what? We're telling them, we don't care what you put in our place, in our way. We're going to overcome those barriers. We're going to make sure people get to exercise that right to vote.
Damon, the thing here, when we talk about these legal battles, it makes your job harder when the Supreme Court invalidated Section 4 of the Voting Rights Act due to Shelby v. Holder. And Republicans are trying their best not to mention race, to allude to race. So what do y'all have to show? What's the level of harm you have to show when filing these lawsuits to get judicial relief?
Well, first of all, we know that there's demographic shift in the state. There's a growing electorate of color. And this isn't just about what happened in 2020 or 2022 going forward. It's about the long game for these folks. It's about trying to stem the tide of demographic shift. The second piece is that we know that when you take away the early voting sites, when you take away the options for where you could drop off your absentee ballot after hours or outside of these buildings, we know that it's going to hit your densely populated urban areas where black folks live in this state. But also we know that these kinds of provisions that make it easier for people to vote safely disproportionately impact communities of color who are hardest hit by COVID, which you just talked about in your last segment. And so having a foreknowledge of all of this to us builds a strong case for intentional discrimination.
Helen, you talk about the battle there. We'd love to get your thoughts on Major League Baseball pulling out of the All-Star game and these corporations finally stepping up and speaking out against this bill.
Well, we are glad that our corporations decided to take a decisive stand. A little too late, but they took a stand. But we're glad the Major League Baseball decided to be very proactive. And of course, our legislators have to understand that the things they do have consequences as well. So while we don't want our people to be impacted, but sometimes we have to sacrifice to get what we need. And so we were happy that the Major League Baseball decided to withdraw the activities here in Georgia.
All right, then. We'll certainly appreciate it. Keep up the work. Damon, the work the Lawyers Committee does is critically important. Of course, we were highly supportive of Kristen Clark when she led the Lawyers Committee. She, of course, is waiting for her hearing to become the head of the Civil Rights Division of the Department of Justice, and will be supportive of her in that effort as well. So y'all are doing a great job. And anytime y'all are filing those suits, be sure to let us know. We'll be sure to have you on the show to let our audience know the great work that y'all are doing. Helen, thank you for the great work you're doing as well.
Thank you.
All right. All right, folks, back to our Roland Martin Unfiltered video in just one moment.
It's time to be smart. When we control our institutions, we win. This is the most important news show on television of any racial background. Y'all put $2, $3, $4, $5, $10, $15, $20, $30 on this and keep this going. What you've done, Roland, since this crisis came out in full bloom. Anybody watching this, tell your friends. Go back and look at the last 2 weeks, especially of Roland Martin Unfiltered. I mean, hell, go back and look at the last 2 days. You've had sitting United States senators today, Klobuchar and Harris. Whatever you have that you can bring to Roland Martin Unfiltered to support it, please do, because this information may literally save your life.
Watch Roland Martin Unfiltered daily at 6 p.m. Eastern on YouTube, Facebook, or Periscope, or go to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Support the Roland Martin Unfiltered Daily Digital Show by going to RolandMartinUnfiltered.com. Our goal is to get 20,000 of our fans contributing $50 each for the whole year. You can make this possible. RolandMartinUnfiltered.com.